What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. Matt here, and this week we got a little bit of a grab bag for you. It is the first episode in February, so we're going to get into what's coming to theaters and what's coming to streaming this month. But before I do that, a few random news updates that I want to touch on. First off, we mentioned in the last week's episode when Brad and I reviewed Kneecap about how it was snubbed at the Oscars. It was predicted to be nominated in a couple categories, did not get any noms, but that Amelia Perez, another foreign musical film, is tied the record for the second most Oscar noms with 13. Since then, Carla Sofia Gascon, who was nominated for Best Actress in a leading role, and the Oscars on that, has been in pretty hot water over some pretty controversial and less than ideal tweets. Gone so far as deleting their Twitter account, and so we'll see what becomes of that if she keeps the nomination at the Oscars. People are calling for them to rescind it. Don't know if that will happen, but just wanted to call that out. We will be doing a review of that movie at some point on the pod. Just need to find time to watch it and get the right person to talk with it. A fun potential bit of news is I have a few friends in the UK, and Better Man has started taking off on social media now. It's getting a little bit of word of mouth. It performed awfully at the box office. The Robbie Williams biopic with him portrayed as a chimpanzee. I've sung its praises on here multiple times. Taylor Tomlinson, the comedian, on her show went on a 7-minute monologue about how fantastic it is and how she's made it her whole personality. A lot of people online, the people who were doubting it going into it, have seen it and been loving it. So I think that's really taking off. So I'd reached out to one of my friends in the UK that's around my age, and I said, listen, is my blind spot of Robbie Williams due to me being in the US or my age? He's a little bit before my time. And they said, maybe a little bit age, but mostly it's because you're in the US. He's still huge over here. Giant deal. So I'm potentially going to get that friend to join the pod to review it. I think that would be fun. I'm also potentially going to be a guest on another podcast. I was on Brewcast a few months ago. I had a lot of fun doing that. And so on that one, I'll plug that on here as well once that's recorded and out. A couple other news releases. Den of Thieves 3 was announced. I talked on here when Den of Thieves 2 is coming out. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, and I'm hoping to get that checked out. It's on digital now in the next week or so. I loved the first one. I think it's one of the best action heist movies that we've had in recent years. Just a lot of fun with O'Shea Jackson Jr., Gerard Butler, Pablo Schreiber. Great cast, a great movie overall. So they announced that Den of Thieves 3 is coming, and so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I've heard good things about the second one. It doesn't take itself quite as seriously as the first one, but still a lot of fun. Good movie. One complaint rant. Instagram, and maybe it's because I'm not as plugged in, they changed their grid to it's now a 4x5 layout instead of the squares, and just really fucked my shit up with that. There's not an option to keep the square grid, although my personal account has a square grid for some reason, but the podcast one, all my pretty layout is now fucked up, and so I'm mad about that. And yeah, you can adjust it, but then there's black or white bars, top and below. Angry. That's my first world problem rant of the day. Also, with The Last of Us Season 2 coming out in April, the kind of predicted release date will be April 13th. It hasn't been officially confirmed that's the 13th, but it is coming in April, according to HBO. With that coming out, I thought it would be good to re-release the audio reviews that I did of The Last of Us Season 1. So if you're newer to the pod, you weren't familiar with that, with Season 1 of The Last of Us, as soon as I got done watching the episode, I would come here, record, edit, publish it with just my gut reaction, initial thoughts. I do a few comparisons from playing the games and my feelings on that. Well, I don't want to get into spoiling anything from future points in the game because I want people to be able to enjoy and experience it as they go. But it was a YouTube exclusive, except for episode 1 happened on the January 18th, 2023 mini episode. But the rest were just on YouTube. The video versions partially it saved with publishing to both of those and trying to get them out in a quick turnaround. But now with season 2 coming out, I want to re-release it on audio platforms. So if people haven't checked those out, I think it's good to start a rewatch of them. There were 9 episodes in season 1. So that will be dropping on Saturdays for now. The new episodes will be on Sundays, but the new episodes of this pod will be on Wednesdays. As always, the new episodes of Last of Us Season 2 will be Sunday nights. But I want to release Season 1 recaps. People do rewatches. So the first one will drop this coming Saturday on February 8th. Episode 1 on the 8th, 2 on the 15th, 3 on the 22nd, 4 on March 1st, 5 on March 8th, 6th on the 15th, 7th on the 22nd, 8th on the 29th, and the season 1 finale, episode 9, on April 5th. And then on the 12th, there will be a week off, a gap, because that Sunday is when season 2 starts. So that'll be nice. We'll have just enough time to rewatch season 1, 1 episode a week, leading up to the season 2 launch, if it is in fact on the 13th. So that will be dropping as bonus episodes. We'll still be releasing Wednesday episodes as usual. But what's coming up? A preview of what's coming up February. Have things lined up. So this week we're doing what to watch. Next week I will be doing a review. I am seeing Moulin Rouge on the national tour on Thursday. So tomorrow, the day after this episode drops. So I'll be discussing that on the following week's episode. And I will also be seeing Captain America and then the following week, I'll be seeing Captain America Brave New World. And so I'll probably talk a little bit on that. We'll do another randomness, may do a draft on there. And then we will be doing a movie review yet to be announced on here. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into it now. What to watch in February. I'm going to start with theaters, mix it up instead of what's coming to streaming. On February 7th, Love Hurts, the action comedy with Ke Huy Quan and Ariana DeBose. Ke Huy Quan, Short Round, Indiana Jones, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, kind of his big comeback resurgence. Loki season 2, fantastic actor. Glad he's doing more projects. This is kind of seems like it's in the vein a little bit of Nobody or John Wick a little bit, but a little bit comedic, not quite rom-com going on. But Ariana DeBose, who Oscar-nominated actress, Anita, West Side Story. Did she win? Don't remember. But Ariana DeBose is his partner in crime. He gets roped back into it. Seems like he's got some hitman backstory. He's a realtor now, put his past behind him, but he gets pulled back in. Also has Marshawn Lynch in it. He's been doing more things, but he was great in Bottoms. So I'm excited to see this. He's basically on the run or trying to get away from his crime lord brother-in-law as well, Ke Huy Quan is. So it looks interesting. That comes out February 7th. Love Hurts. Also, February 7th, Heart Eyes. It is a horror thriller about the Heart Eyes killer who stalks and kills couples on Valentine's Day. And it stars Devon Sawa, Jordana Brewster. Looks interesting. I'm always up for a good horror thriller slasher film, so we'll see how that is. Probably not going to be a theater viewing for me, but I will be checking it out when it comes out for sure. And then Parasite, the Bong Joon-ho Oscar winner, is re-releasing in IMAX, so I was a big fan of that movie. It's coming to streaming, which we'll get to a little bit later, but it's re-releasing in IMAX, so if that interests you, that's coming out the 7th. On the 14th, Captain America Brave New World comes out. So this is the 4th Captain America movie. This is the first one with Anthony Mackie as the lead as Captain America. in this. Sam Wilson has now taken up the mantle as Captain America. It also has Harrison Ford in it as Thaddeus Ross, replacing the late great William Hurt, who had sadly passed away. And so Harrison Ford is stepping into that role. And Harrison Ford's having a resurgence lately. Like, just a fantastic actor, always has been. But he just seems like he's, I don't know, just having more fun in general. Like, Shrinking, he is so good in. So good. Shrinking, one of my favorite shows of recent memory. Fantastic. And he's going to be Red Hulk in it from all the, not spoiler, it's in all the trailers, which maybe would have been cool if they would have saved it, but people read the comics. They've been predicting the Thaddeus Ross becoming Red Hulk for a while because that's what he was in the comics. Also on the 14th, Paddington in Peru. So if you're a fan of the Paddington Bear movies, by all accounts, very good, very wholesome. I have not watched a single one of them. But the third one, Paddington in Peru, also releases on the 14th. On February 21st, there is an action kind of heist thriller Cleaner coming out. It stars Clive Owen and then Daisy Ridley. Storyline is that criminal activists hijack a gala, taking 300 hostages, and one extremist plans mass murder as a message to the world. An ex-soldier turned window cleaner, which is played by Daisy Ridley, now works to rescue the hostages. The synopsis of this movie sounds like the most Jason Statham designed movie ever. Like, I feel like this was meant to be starring Jason Statham, and they're like, you know what? Daisy Ridley could work in this role. So, I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by this. Not going to be a theater viewing one for me. Also on February 21st, The Monkey comes out. The Monkey is a horror movie directed by Osgood Perkins, who did Longlegs, which was a big hit last year. Their marketing campaign for Longlegs was wild. I thought they're like one of the scariest movies you've ever seen. People were leaving, the theater shook. No, it wasn't. It was a good kind of thriller, little bit of horror elements, not scariest movie you ever seen. But it was really good. It was a very unique style. Nicolas Cage was wild in it. Good movie. But The Monkey is a horror movie. It is based on a Stephen King short story, basically about twins find their father's old toy monkey, and then a series of gruesome deaths start occurring and causes the twins to be distant. That was played by Theo James. It also stars Elijah Woods and Tatiana Maslany. So I'm excited about this one. Again, horror movies aren't really ones that I flock to the theater for, but I am trying to do more that are ones that I'm interested in that I wouldn't normally go see. After seeing Better Man bomb at the box office, I just want there to be more support for kind of unique movies, things that aren't just like tentpole franchises like the Marvel movies, that kind of thing. I want to see more unique or original movies in theaters. So I'm going to start trying to go to more, and you all should too. And then on the 28th, February, Last Breath, starring Woody Harrelson, Mayana Buring, and Simu Liu. This is a true story about deep sea divers who are kind of battling storm elements to save one of their crewmates who got trapped hundreds of feet underwater, disconnected and separated from them. So this looks kind of like that rescue survival type movie. This looks really interesting to me. I'm excited about it as well. So a decent chunk coming to February that has me intrigued and I'm interested in seeing. There's obviously some others thrown in there, but these are the standouts for me. All right, let's get into streaming. We're going to start off with Netflix. There's actually a decent amount coming to Netflix this month I'm excited about. I mentioned before that Parasite is coming to streaming. It's coming to Netflix. It came out February 1st, so it's already there as you're listening or watching this episode. So Parasite, part one of It, 2017 version with Bill Skarsgård playing Pennywise the Clown, and It comes out. Miss Congeniality is Sandra Bullock movie, FBI agent undercover at a beauty pageant. Space Jam, the original Space Jam 2 was hot garbage with LeBron, but the original, still not a great movie, but man, gets me right in the nostalgia, right in the feels. That comes out. Seasons 1 through 8 of Home Improvement. Huh? That's coming to streaming. And then a movie that was underappreciated at its time and since has gone on to get a decent following and reception is The Nice Guys. Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe, kind of not noir, but old school detectives. It's a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. If you haven't checked it out, you need to. It's on Netflix now as of February 1st. On February 5th, Celebrity Bear Hunt is coming out. This intrigues me. It is 12 celebrities try to stay hidden and escape survivalist Bear Grylls. So they're basically like refugees being hunted by Bear Grylls. This interesting concept. I'm intrigued by it. Bear Grylls' old survivalist stuff and his Discovery Channel shows were always interesting. So this is a fun concept I feel like could be interesting. A Netflix original movie that doesn't look great is Kind of Pregnant. It is Amy Schumer. She is jealous of her friend who is pregnant and decides to wear a fake baby bump. While she is wearing the fake baby bump, she meets, this is directly from the synopsis, she meets the man of her dreams. And that's the premise of this comedy. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Amy Schumer fan, but it's on Netflix. If I'm looking for something, may throw it on. A foreign language series that is premiering that looks very like raw and gritty and looks really, that I'm really intrigued by, is Prison Cell 211. So the description is, caught in a prison riot on the Mexican border on December 31st, 2022, a human rights lawyer poses as an inmate to survive. As he blends in, chaos and personal loss unveil the darkness within him. So this, I think, can be really intriguing. Netflix does a good job putting a number of foreign language content on there, and it's usually pretty solid quality. Squid Games 2, I've been watching through that, slower pace, because the one thing that I kind of like about foreign language projects is it forces you to lock in and pay attention, put down your phone, just be in the moment, enjoy and experience the show, which, yes, I could do that for English language things too, but it's a lot easier to get distracted. This, you don't have a choice but to lock in. So that comes out February 5th. I'm excited about that. On February 6th, the movie Apple Cider Vinegar stars Caitlin Dever, who is playing Abby in The Last of Us Season 2. And the synopsis is as follows. Two young women advocate for wellness remedies to cure deadly illnesses, unraveling their lives as they unknowingly and knowingly mislead the world. And I think this is really interesting with all the trends of the influencers and the wellness influencers and everyone just peddling these products and different lifestyle changes or new fad diets, things like that. This looks interesting. And I'm a big Caitlin Dever fan. So I'm excited for her as Abby. It was weird casting for me, but I'm going to give it a shot. She was fantastic in Dear Evan Hansen, Last Man Standing, Tim Allen. She was one of the good parts of that show. I'm intrigued. On February 10th, a kind of documentary series, Surviving Black Hawk Down, comes out. It says kind of U.S. soldiers and Somali fighters recall the 1993 Battle of Mogadishu, which there was a book written, and the now famous movie with Orlando Bloom. I want to say it had Josh Hartnett in it as well, but it's about the downing of 3 Black Hawk helicopters and them just trying to survive and get out of there. Really good war movie back in the day. So this documentary that goes into like the details and kind of sees both sides a little bit. It looks intriguing. On February 13th, season 6, part 3 of Cobra Kai comes out. One of my bugaboos with the streaming thing now is that they will break seasons into parts. So this is part 3 of Cobra Kai season 6. Just wait and release all of it at once, man. Like, what are we doing here? I fell off from Cobra Kai after I think season 4, so I haven't been caught up. It started strong, it started getting a little bit where it was jumping the shark from the beginning, a little bit ridiculous, but I just fell off. There's just so much other TV out there. So I can't speak to its quality the last few seasons, but it didn't intrigue me as much as other things out there. But this is the conclusion of the series. This part 3 is the final part of season 6, the final part of the Cobra Kai storyline. But there's a new Karate Kid movie coming out with Ralph Macchio. And I think it ties together the one with Jackie Chan and Jade Smith as well. I also could just be completely making that up, but I was thinking it did. Karate Kid Legends, I want to say it's called. Could be wrong. But on Valentine's Day, February 14th, Love is Blind Season 8 premieres. So I love my trashy reality TV. Love is Blind is one I haven't had time to get into. Love Island is the one that has my heart when I have time to watch it. Or Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That season 1, that's another one I fell behind on, but season 1, fantastic. So season 8 of Love is Blind premieres on Valentine's Day. On February 20th, a new Netflix original, Zero Day, comes out. It stars Robert De Niro as a former U.S. president who must kind of track down the culprit behind a nationwide cyber attack. So I'm intrigued by this. It's something that maybe a little bit, you get some of this stuff that gets almost a little bit alarmism or too close to home. You never know with some of it. That was something with 24 that sometimes people were saying and calling out with that, because it's always about terrorist threats or attacks to the U.S. and everything going on with that. Cyber attacks are things that are very possible and very real now. So I'm intrigued by this show. There's some solid Netflix original content coming this month. And then finally, on February 23rd, Netflix will be streaming live the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which are hosted by Kristen Bell. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out on February 23rd. On Amazon Prime Video, there's a few things that already dropped on February 1st, existing things. That's going to be Annie, the 2014 version with Jamie Foxx, Fiddler on the Roof, the musical vein still, The Birdcage with Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, classic movie, a lot of fun. Jason Segel and Emily Blunt starring movie The 5-Year Engagement, also got some Chris Pratt action in there too, also a lot of fun movie. I'm a big Jason Segel fan, especially now with Shrinking. I'm going to go on like a rewatch, and I Love You Man, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 5-Year Engagement. Lots of fun stuff. There was like a period of time where Jason Segel was in like every kind of raunchy comedy back then. A lot of fun. And then the original 1961 version of West Side Story is also coming to Amazon, or out now because it came out February 1st. Also at the time this release, on February 4th, the Super Mario Brothers movie came out to Amazon Prime. So a lot of fun if you got kids or if you just love Mario, have some nostalgia there. I thought this movie was really well done. I enjoyed it, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime Video now. On February 6th, Invincible Season 3 premieres. Now, I loved Invincible Season 1. There was a big gap between Season 1 and Season 2. And then Season 2, they did in what I just slammed Netflix and Cobra Kai for. They split it into 2 parts. It was one I watched the first part, and then with the gap, other things filled there. So I haven't even gone back and finished Season 2. I loved Season 1. Season 2 had a strong start to it, and I need to get back into it. There's just so many other things vying for attention and so little time. But Season 3, they've learned from it, and they're lumping it all together. Like, they're not dropping all at the same time, but they're doing weekly releases, and they're not going to have a break in between. It's not split into 2 parts, they said. They heard feedback and are taking from that. Also on February 6th, a new series premieres on Amazon called Clean Slate. It's basically a car wash owner's estranged son of 17 years shows up as a proud trans woman named Desiree, played by Laverne Cox of Orange is the New Black fame. I always think it's interesting when they try to tackle subject matter like this and get more exposure and representation. I'm always supportive of that. Laverne Cox, great in Orange is the New Black. I'm interested in seeing this show and how it turns out and how will they handle it. And then on February 20th, one I'm really excited about, is Season 3 of Reacher. I absolutely loved Season 1 of Reacher. I have not gotten to watch season 2. As I said, too many things, too much time. Season 2 of Reacher is prioritized over Invincible season 2 for me. Alan Richardson is so good in that role. Big Alan Richardson fan. I've seen him since Blue Mountain State back in the day. But Raphael and Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles. He was in the DC. DC had a short-lived, like, their own streaming service that then got rolled into HBO Max, and he was in as Hawk in that, as Titans. No, he wasn't Hawk. Who was he? Maybe it was Hawk. I don't remember. But he was in Titans, and he is fantastic in Reacher. So season 3 premieres on February 20th. And then on February 27th, Amazon's coming out with a 16-episode biblical epic series about David, of David and Goliath fame, called House of David. Title is interesting choice. The trailer is pretty much focused on, it looks like a whole bunch of lead up to his battle with Goliath too, and setting the stage for this. I don't know if they're going to tackle the whole story of David. If you follow the story of David in the Bible, there's a lot of wild shit in there. Usually in biblical epic shows, even though it's all in the Bible, they tend to kind of steer away with a little bit from the messier parts and keep it more wholesome, encouraging, while also just throwing things in there to make it a little more exciting. Story of David is exciting, but we'll see what happens with this show. That comes out February 27th. And that does it for Amazon Prime Video. Now coming to Max, some things that already dropped on February 1st. Bad Boys 1 and 2. Love the movies. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, a lot of fun. Dread, the kind of cult classic movie, another one, wasn't appreciated when it came out, but absolutely deserved a sequel, with Carl Urban, kind of the post-apocalyptic is wrong, but kind of futuristic society kind of crumbled, but just describing it poorly. A lot of good action movie starring Carl Urban out. Just Mercy with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, where Michael B. Jordan plays a civil rights lawyer who's fighting to free a wrongfully convicted man on death row. And then the original the 1985 version of The Color Purple, not the musical version that released a couple years ago, came out, and then the movie version of Waitress, the original one with that original story, Kerry Russell, that came out on February 1st. On February 7th, We Live in Time, a romantic drama with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, comes out. This is one I wanted to catch in theaters, didn't get the opportunity to. It looks like a tearjerker. I'm excited to see it. Big Andrew Garfield fan. I feel like he's been just I keep saying people are having a resurgence, but I feel like Andrew Garfield really has. He's so good in Tick, Tick, Boom. He's been in so many things. People are loving him in interviews. Love Andrew Garfield. Love Florence Pugh. Really excited about this. On February 14th, Waitress the Musical comes to Max. So I'm really excited that it's available on like a standard streaming service, not just Broadway HD. It stars Sarah Bareilles in the pro shot filmed stage musical version. So good. I did a review on here. I said it, Waitress the Musical, better than the movie version. Like, it improves on it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good movie, musical, great music, very catchy. Sarah Bareilles is heartbreaking in it. She Used to Be Mine, one of the all-time great musical songs in my opinion. So good, so heart-wrenching. You're going to have the opportunity to watch it on Max starting February 14th. And then on February 16th, season 3 of The White Lotus premieres. So the kind of anthology series, take place at different locales, sometimes one or two characters carrying over. Premieres on the 16th. I'm excited about it. This season stars Walton Goggins in it as well. Love Walton Goggins. So good in Justified, so good in Righteous Gemstones, Vice Principals. Just so good. He was really good in the Fallout series on Amazon as well. And then closing out Max on February 28th, Morbius is coming out. Morbius was the god-awful Sony Spider-Man spinoff. That social media, it became a meme with "It's Morbin time." And because of the social media push and talk about it, they decided to re-release it in theaters where it bombed for a second time. So just awful movie with Jared Leto, not good at all. But also on the 28th, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, the anime movie that they released, that Peter Jackson was involved with, comes out on Max. So I'm excited to check that out. I didn't get a chance to check that out in theaters. Looks fun. Anime isn't necessarily my vibe all the time. I have to be in the right mood for it. But I'm excited to see more world building in Middle Earth from before the time of Lord of the Rings. So intrigued by that. What's coming to Hulu this month on February 1st, so already out now, Crazy Stupid Love with Emma Stone, I almost said Michael Scott, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, a lot of fun, great rom-com, that's out there. Easy A with Emma Stone, also a great movie. That's out on Hulu now. So is Titanic. And then Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. That's out there. Baz Luhrmann, if you watch the Moulin Rouge review, not a fan of his directorial style. I have not watched that movie. It does not look like it's for me. Maybe someday we'll talk about it on here. We'll see. On February 10th, the Denmark movie won Oscar for Best Foreign Film, and starring Mads Mikkelsen. It's about 4 high school teachers who decide to start drinking alcohol daily and for research purposes to see how it affects their lives, their social interactions, and their daily lives and jobs. So it's getting an English remake because it's foreign language film. Really good. Won awards, like I said. I don't know that an English remake is necessary. I'm not necessarily thrilled for that. But the original is coming to Hulu on February 10th. So check that out. Also on February 10th, the musical vein, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella comes out. So the classic story of Cinderella, the musical vein. Great songs from that. I grew up on that version of it, the Rodgers and Hammerstein's one. So besides the animated Disney one, so that comes out on Hulu. On February 21st, a Hulu original, A Thousand Blows, comes out. It's from the creator of Peaky Blinders. It's about the kind of underbelly East London crime scene a little bit, and a bare knuckle boxing scene specifically. So I'm intrigued by that. That looks good. And then on February 26th, season 4 of Shoresy premieres, the Letterkenny spinoff. I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. Haven't had a chance to watch season 3 yet, but season 4 comes out on the 26th. All episodes drop on Hulu. I actually have a decent number of things on Peacock this month I wanted to call out. They don't usually make the rotation, but calling out there and then a few other stragglers. So, already out, that dropped on February 1st, is 8 Mile, the Eminem basically biopic. Fantastic. We talked about it a little bit. Brad and I did when we were talking about Kneecap, and then I talked about it the week before as well, talking about some of my favorite biopics. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 of 2 and 2, speaking of Andrew Garfield. Not necessarily great movies as a whole, especially Amazing Spider-Man 2. But Amazing Spider-Man 1, I really enjoyed. It was one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. They do some like POV web swinging shots that I feel like are fantastic and a lot of fun, and something they need to take advantage more of in Spider-Man movies. I loved Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man in there. I felt like he captured it well. I really enjoyed those movies. They're out on Peacock. Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy is available now. And then Blade 2, and Blade Trinity are also on there. Blade had a resurgence featured in Deadpool and Wolverine. So those movies are back up there. Then also the 1992 version of the horror movie Candyman, starring Tony Todd, is out. I really enjoyed the horror movies. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because on February 13th, the 2021 version of Candyman is coming out. Key and Peele. Why am I blanking? Jordan Peele. Thank you. Jordan Peele directed Candyman movie, and so that comes out. Jordan Peele doing fantastic things in the horror space. So I really enjoyed the 2021 version. It's quite a bit different from the 1992 version. They're kind of like spiritual successors in a way too. So they're connected to each other. And then if you like animated movies, Despicable Me 1 through 3 also dropped on February 1st, and talked about Paddington 3 coming to theaters. Paddington 1 is came out on Peacock February 1st. And other things on the 1st, I Love You Man, the Jason Segel movie I referenced earlier. Jason Segel, Paul Rudd, fantastic movie. Hitch with Will Smith, great movie. Kingsman, The Secret Service. The Kingsman movies are ones that I think fell off a little bit, still been fun. But the first one, especially with Taron Egerton, is kind of like a modern, youthful James Bond in a way. And these, to me, I was a big fan growing up of the Alex Rider book series, which was turned into a great Amazon series or Freevee, well, IMDb TV, then Freevee series that's available on Amazon, Alex Rider. This kind of reminded me of that. It's about teen spy getting in on the action. It's about gadgets, great action scenes. The first one, Kingsman: The Secret Service, has a fantastic like one-shot scene in the church that is wild, so good. So that's there. And then also the Twilight series is now on Peacock. So if that's your jam, you can watch them all on Peacock. On February 7th, Piece by Piece, the biopic about Pharrell that is done entirely in Legos, came out. So it was a year for interesting takes on biopics with Better Man, Chimpanzee. This is Legos. The chimpanzee speaks to me more. As Taylor Tomlinson said in her monologue of Better Man, who doesn't want to watch a chimpanzee snorting cocaine? I want to see that. So you all should too. Go see Better Man. Also on February 13th, so I said Candyman, the 2021 version is coming out. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. So another movie in the Bridget Jones Diary series with Renee Zellweger. I want to say Colin Firth as well. That movie is a Peacock exclusive, dropping on Peacock on the 13th, premiering. On February 15th, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, and Hobbs and Shaw from the Fast franchise are all dropping on Peacock. And then on February 19th, season 2 of Love Island All-Stars premieres. So a mix from the different, because there's Love Island UK, Australia, the US ones now. This has some of the classic UK cast. Curtis Pritchard is on it. I loved Curtis in season, I want to say he's in season 5 of the UK one. UK, I've said it multiple times in here. I'm going to fucking say it again. Seasons 2 through 5 of the UK Love Island are some of the best seasons of reality television that I've ever seen. I highly recommend them. If you love trash reality TV, it doesn't get better than those seasons and that show. Okay. Also, on February 24th, Suits LA, starring Stephen Amell, the spinoff from the Suits series. It's premiering on NBC and then coming to Peacock the next day, February 24th. That's the premiere episode of that. And then coming to Peacock is Grosse Pointe Garden Society. This stars Melissa Fumero, Anna Sophia Robb, Aja Naomi King, and Ben Rappaport. It follows 4 members of a suburban garden club as they get caught up in murder and mischief as they strive to flourish. So this is a miniseries that looks intriguing to me. I love Melissa Fumero and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Excited to see her in more things. Again, being honest, this is one that'll probably be shelved because there's so many good things to watch. Like, I haven't even gotten to Dune Prophecy yet. I'm so behind on so many things. But that's what's coming to Peacock. And then the one other kind of straggler standout that I want to specifically call out is season 3 of Yellowjackets is premiering on February 14th. They're doing a 2-episode premiere. It's on Paramount Plus and Showtime. I loved season 1 of Yellowjackets. I thought it was one of the best premiere seasons of a new original show in a long time. So good, like so intriguing, so like just not kept you on the edge of your seat because you didn't know what was going to happen next because all the flashbacks and just how it's told. I don't want to give it away, but about a soccer team that their plane crashes in the middle of a jungle, not sure where they are or how they're going to survive. This group of teenage girls and a couple of the coaches. Great show. Season 2 dropped off a bit for me, if I'm being honest. Didn't love it as much. I'm hoping they bring me back in season 3. I almost did weekly recaps of that on the pod, but life got in the way. So opposite of Jurassic Park, where life finds a way, life got in the way for me on this. But I'm really excited. It's coming back. Season 3, like I said, 2-episode premiere on February 14th on Paramount Plus and Showtime. So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Lots coming to theaters, lots coming to streaming this much. No shortage of things to watch. Hopefully, you'll spend some of your time watching the podcast and give us some of your time. And then also, like I said, those Last of Us re-releasing the audio versions of the reviews. If you want to watch them all, they're on YouTube. There's a playlist for it. You can watch my reviews of all 9 episodes, as well as my predictions of what I think, how I think they could handle season 2, and some talk on there. That one does have spoilers from the video game, so don't watch that if you don't want any spoilers. From the trailers, I think I'm already off on my prediction, but that's going to do it. Thank you all for watching, listening. We have exciting February coming up on the pod. So thank you all. Love you all. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. Have a great month. And don't forget to go down once more. Later.